With that, we're gonna say adieu to Adrian. He's going to host the final part of the meeting and facilitate Q&A with Russell. And I am going to take the distinct honor of introducing Russell Westcott. Part of the main reason for that is he has been a role model and a mentor of mine. Pretty much since day one. I literally learned how to do joint venturing from Russell, being a punk kid in my early 20s, sitting at, it wasn't even called Acres then for you Rain people. It was called Quick Start back in the day. Watching him do his Hallmark presentation where he used the tennis racket to bat the deal back and forth on stage. Russell, I mean, I'm pretty sure he invented the technique of writing the line down the middle of the page and then writing what each partner does on either side of it. I mean, that's where I learned how to do it. So he deserves all the credit he gets. He deserves the accolades he gets. I mean, he's not called the JV Jedi for nothing. If you can see in the background there, when we say he wrote the book, that's the book right there sitting behind him. So I know a lot of people are asking what book is it? It's Real Estate Joint Ventures. That's the playbook, guys. I mean, everybody who you probably see on social media, on Facebook, on different platforms, who is a self-proclaimed real estate expert talking about joint venture techniques and strategies and offering coaching, guaranteed that the genesis of their knowledge base started with what they probably learned from Russell or read in that book sometime in the last 15 to 20 years. So you guys are in for a real treat, because when it comes to joint venturing in Canada, we've got the Godfather sitting right here about to share with us what you need to know if being a managing partner is for you. So, I don't even know if that introduction did the guy justice, but Russell really is a walking legend. So I could not be more thrilled to have you, Russell. It's just a real treat to have you here with us. Thank you so much.
James, thank you.
With that, I am humbled to say, Russell, please take it away.
So can everyone hear me? First of all, can you hear me, James? So I'm going to summarize your introduction of me, James. You just called me old, I think. The Godfather, the OG of this. It's interesting. I actually make notes of every time I hear a reference to something that I taught 15 years ago, and people just call it different names now. It's actually kind of funny, but I give credit to people that put catchy names on it. Like, what was the one I saw the other day? Flip to Yourself is something I taught probably about 13, 14 years ago. I should have named it, I guess, right? So first of all, guys, welcome here. I just want to do a quick check-in here with everybody here. First of all, I want to see if everybody's here. You guys know, I present a little bit different than most people. So what I want everybody to do, if you can, is I want you to open up the chat box for me, please. And I want you guys to jump into the chat box, and I want you to say hi. I want you to type in, I want to see who's here. I want you guys to be awake for this presentation. Just jump in. Hello, tell me where you're from, introduce yourself. Let's just get a little bit of energy going here. I just want to make sure we have people from Surrey, from Edmonton, people from the Northwest Territories. Hey, Kunal, good to see you. Mr. Mohindra, nice. Gary Ma, good. Hey, Gary, we just had a conversation a little while ago. George, I thought I saw Latif there, Corey, Dawn. Guys, I'm almost like taking me back to my romper room days. Remember at the end of romper room when they had the little magnifying glass, and I see Andre, and I see Jessica, and I see Angie, and I see Colleen. I was always waiting for them to name my name, but I never ever would hear that. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with romper room, I'm really showing my age, and I'm also showing my. Growing up in Saskatchewan with my humble roots, we truly only had 4 television stations, and 2 of them were French. And we had the good old CBC at that time, and that's what we also had as well. So Josh, yes, Josh, go Riders. Yeah, I wish we could say that there was football being played this year. At least they have, sorry for a joke here, but at least they have a name. Oh, sorry, I digress. Okay, guys. So James, thank you very much. And I'm just honored, and I am truly, let's put it this way, every time I get an opportunity to share a passion, to share some insights, and to share some wisdom and some knowledge with people, I'm truly, I don't ever take that for granted. And when I don't take it for granted means that I'm going to deliver everything I possibly can and give you guys everything I got for the next 6.5 hours here tonight. And we're going to have some fun. Well, maybe we won't have fun. Oh, sorry. Hang on, guys. That's a joke. So I want everybody to type into the chat box, ha, 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 ha. Okay. Okay, so we have a fun presentation here tonight. And I'm going to be calling on you guys a few times over the next little while for some engagement and some participation. And maybe towards the end, if we have some time, I'll bring some people in, and maybe we'll even do a little bit of role play activity and things like that, where, maybe I'll close you on the spot here tonight and show you how to have the conversation with a potential money partner. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I want to share my screen here. Let me just get my slide deck set up for everybody here quickly. All right, back to Zoom, screen share, desktop to share. Okay, so are you guys able, do you see the title slide for tonight's presentation is essentially, oh, hang on. It was on the last slide. One more time. Do you see that? Everyone in the chat box, type in if you see the first slide. It's called Generating Investor Leads in an Online World. Type in the chat box if you see that. Okay? Okay. So we're at the right place at the right time. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a premise here first before we dive into the deep end of the pool. This presentation tonight is going to be a little bit advanced. I think for many of you that are on the webinar here tonight, and I know James's group, and I know you're the team and what you guys teach, you guys are ready for some advanced strategies. You're ready for a deep look into how a professional investor looks at raising capital, who treats this like a business, who's actually a professional at doing this. I consider myself an Olympic athlete when it comes to raising capital. That's the kind of role that I do, and that's the swim lane that I do within my business. And that's what I am best at within my business. I have business partners that are best at sourcing deals. I have another business partners that are best at the operation. But my job is to get in front of a group of people, flap my lips, share a story, inspire people into action, take action, and raise the capital. That's what I do. Okay. So tonight's going to be a little bit advanced. Now, I'm not going to, if you feel that you're not at an advanced level, I'm not going to leave. Nobody gets left behind when I do teaching. So if you feel tonight's just a little advanced and you'd maybe like a joint venture 101 program to kind of a little bit more of the foundation, if you reach out to me at russellwestcott.com, you send me a quick email, I'll send you an hour-and-a-half presentation on the 101, the basics, like the foundation of it as well. Okay, so let's dive into this. But before we do dive into this presentation, here's what everybody I want you to do. Everybody, I want you to grab your phone. Okay, grab your phone. I want you to put it into selfie mode. Everybody here, you're going to be in selfie mode, and you're going to take a picture with you in it. And then you're also going to take a picture with the screen on there as well, okay? You're going to take a picture of that, and then you're going to post that picture on your favorite social media channel of choice. And you're going to put in there something like, hanging out with 120, or I think, 67 people, hanging out with 67 like-minded, driven real estate investors, learning about how to put together big deals. And you're going to post that, okay? And you're going to post that to your favorite social media place. Please, I encourage you to tag me on that as well, because then you can actually tap into the network I've built if you actually tag my name on that as well, that all the people that are associated to me will actually see that as well. Okay, so what did I just do? I actually gave you guys a very powerful strategy of starting to get attention, a very powerful strategy. Some of the problems that some of you guys might be facing might be that nobody knows who you are. You might be sitting here going, I have all these wonderful deals. I got great deals. Why does nobody know who I am? I'm like the best kept secret in all of Edmonton with all these deals. Like, I want you guys to type into the chat box if you think you're the best kept secret out there right now. Type in, that's me. And you might be the best kept secret. And what we just need to do is we need to distribute your message more. We need to have you start sharing more about what you have. Yes, Colleen, the best kept secrets, the both of you guys, right? So guys, here's the thing is if you're not willing to tout that you're the best kept secret out there, who's going to do it for you? So guys, you need to be sitting there going, that's me. I'm the best kept secret. And all I need to do is I need to start distributing my message to a wider audience. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys here tonight, is I'm going to be sharing with you guys about how to generate investor leads in an online world. Now, one of the things I believe in right up front is giving you guys a big promise. Here's what I promise to do for you tonight. I promise to give you a simple plan. Now, I will share with what this plan is, and it's a plan that every single one of you on this webinar here tonight can implement and can execute. It is simple. I'm going to share with you guys tonight a repeatable story formula. Now, very few people do this right, and I watch a lot of things on social media, and I'm not going to, how am I going to politely say this? Very few people do this right, okay? And I'm going to share with you guys a powerful story framework to have people engage with you, to have people think that, geez, there's something about them, just the way they wrote that story, just the way they did that Facebook Live, just the way they did that video. And I'm going to share a formula, and it's actually a formula. It's not just a rambly bambly story. There's actually components to it, okay? And then what I'm also going to do here as well is I'm going to build you guys out a little bit of a marketing sequence, a lead generation sequence, and we're going to reduce your fear about raising capital from other people. And how are we going to do that? Essentially, I'm going to do that by doing three things tonight. I'm going to share with you three powerful frameworks, three of them. Framework number one is I'm going to share with you the ABC business model. Okay, ABC business model. Interesting to note, I probably heard that. I've been on the webinar since the very beginning. I probably have heard this business model shared about 3 or 4 times already in the conversations with the money partners and also with what James and Adrian have shared. So I'm going to share with you that business model, and I'm going to break it down in a really simple ABC formula for you. I'm going to then share a storytelling framework with examples. And then I'm also going to share with you guys a very powerful framework that I do. Like, I get paid consulting fees to companies that want to build out their funnels and want to build out their marketing sequences and want to build out their investor processes. I get paid consulting fees to do this with from fairly large people. Some people you might know that have paid me to come in and totally overhaul their entire marketing, lead generation, qualification, and deal flow sequences. And I'm going to share with you guys a very powerful framework of what I pay, that I walk through some of my highest coaching clients and some of my highest consultation clients at the same time. Okay, so before we dive into it, I know James did a wonderful job, but I'm just going to do this really quickly. Hey guys, I'm Russell Westcott. First and foremost, I'm a real estate investor. The books I've written, the coaching and the consulting and all that kind of stuff comes backseat to myself as a real estate investor. Every single day I am in the business. I am working on my business and working in my business as a real estate investor. So matter of fact, today alone, I had another investor conversation that could, knock wood, turn into be my largest investor to date. I am an active investor that is continually buying properties, and I coach and I consult because I love the work and I love inspiring others to greatness at the same time. And if anybody would ever say, well, Russell, what do you do? Here's what I do. I help real estate investors start, grow, and scale the real estate investing portfolio of your dreams. Okay, now here's the thing is, I'm going to ask you guys a question if you're on here, and type a yes or a no for me. Do you guys have a tagline for what you do? Do you have a tagline of who you help? Do you have a tagline of what you do in your business that you can just rattle off? I help real estate investors start, grow, and scale the real estate investing portfolio of their dreams. Do you have that? That might be one of the first things you need to build out, is to know exactly what you do and who you can help. Okay, now I'm going to get off my soapbox here a little bit. That might be exercise homework for everybody, is what is my tagline? What am I known for, right? What do I do? How can I help people? That's the first one. Okay, so let's jump in. So did anyone answer in there that they have a tagline? Who does? Colleen, Kumar, Courtney, Uno, yes? Busy professionals. Yes. Nice, Colleen. I love that. Angie. So good work, guys. Now, always continue to refine that tagline about what you stand for and who you are. Okay. Does anyone have a pen and paper? Grab yourself a pen and paper. We're going to go through I'm going to go through the lessons fairly quickly. I'm going to share some stories with you. I'm going to share some case studies with you. I'm going to share some examples of people that have just getting started. I'm going to share some people that have established portfolios. And I'm also going to share some people that are professionals. That's what they do. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through this in general. So the ABC business model. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to think simple. The business model, most people overcomplicate this business. Most people sit there and they think that they have to have 2,000 steps along the process, and they really just overcomplicate it. I'm here to tell you first and foremost is that what I'm going to be sharing with you is simple, dead simple, but it's not easy. The big thing that you have to do in this is you have to be prepared for the long game. When I first did the slide, I wrote long game, and then I crossed that out and I said, you know what? That's too short even. You need to be prepared for the infinite game. You need to be prepared to go the distance. You need to be prepared to do whatever it takes. You need to be prepared to go the infinite game. If I want to steal a Simon Sinek term, that's the game I'm playing. I'm playing the infinite game. I'm not playing the long game. I'm not playing the short game. I'm playing an infinite game. I'm playing the game that I can then pass on to other people. I'm playing the game that I can then inspire others. I'm playing the game that I can help a new generation of real estate investors to learn all this, that they can then pass that on to the next generation of people there. I'm playing an infinite game, and hopefully you guys are too. Okay, so the A of the ABC formula, step number one, and remember, this is simple. You need to attract an audience. Okay, that's the first thing. The A stands for attract an audience. And I'll give all three of them, and then I'll come back and I'll break them down a little bit. The next thing you need to do after that is you need to build a relationship with your audience. And then the last thing you do is you create offers that solve your audience's problems. That's it. Attract an audience, build a relationship, and create offers that help solve their problems. Okay. One of the things that I do each and every day in my planner when I wake up in the morning and I have my cup of coffee at 5:05, I'm writing in my journal, in my book of what I'm doing. One of the things that I have to do each and every day is how am I doing lead generation? How am I adding people's names to my database? How am I going to be contributing to do a podcast? How am I going to be doing a webinar like here tonight? Maybe some of you guys will really like what I have to say, and maybe you'll reach out, maybe you'll give your email address, and maybe you want to have a further conversation. That is called attracting an audience. And I have activities, I schedule those things in every single day. Tomorrow alone, I have another 2 podcasts that I'm recording and another YouTube video. So I'm doing 3 more recordings. Friday, I'm taking Friday off. I'm going to go golfing. But you know what? When I'm going to be on the golf course and I'm probably going to meet somebody, I'm going to have a conversation with them about real estate. And that's a guarantee. Okay. I am always attracting leads. Always. Now, building relationships. What do we do to build relationships? I'll give you an example today. I sent out an email note out to my database of people on my list. Some of you might be on my email list and you received an email today. Maybe you received an invitation to join my podcast that I've just launched about, 3 weeks ago now? 3 weeks ago, I think we just passed over 700 downloads in the first 3 weeks. I'm just so honored and blessed anytime somebody ever jumps on it, downloads it, and leaves a review and things like that. That is part of building a relationship with people. Today, in the email and the YouTube and the podcast that I released, it was with this wonderful story of a good friend of mine that I've known for over 14 years, who shared a heart-wrenching, tear-jerking story of loss. And I'm not going to tell you the full story, but I had people reply to that email thanking me for sharing such a beautiful human story out there. I'm building a relationship with my audience. Okay. Then the last thing I'm do is that over time is I will then find out through my audience what they need. What do they need? They need to have an offer that can help solve a problem that they want. I'm not putting offers out just for putting offers out. You see people that always upsell and this, upsell that, and upsell this, and always selling something. What I offer to people is a solution to a problem that they have. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple case studies and a couple examples. And these are from clients of mine. These are from people that are coaching clients of mine, and how I've helped them and how we work together, and how some of these are, I would consider them, one would be a little bit more, not fully advanced. The other one's, the first one I'm going to share is brand new, someone who's just getting started. And then the second one is someone who's an established investor and is actually taking it to the next level. And then maybe I'll share with you towards the end of somebody who's professional. Okay, so here's example number one. This is Rebecca. Rebecca's out of Ontario. She's out of Toronto. She's a data scientist, I believe, by trade. She works for a tech company, and and what she does is all day long she's working with tech people and data and AI and augmented reality, and she's working on all that. And she wants to do real estate investing. She wants to do that on her side. She does that the 5 to 9. Okay, you get the 5 to 9. The 5 to 9 is your side hustle, right? It's the 5 to 9 is what she does this on. Okay, so what we started doing with her is we sat back and we sat down and we said, Rebecca, who's your ideal client? Who's your ideal investor avatar? And we took weeks and weeks to really fully flesh this out. And we determined for her ideal investor avatar is executives in tech. Executives in tech businesses. She used to work for IBM. I think she's with Microsoft, and she's been with a couple other ones there. And she has a really big LinkedIn following as well. And she's young, like she's in her early 30s. But she's just been in the tech industry for a while. And her ideal avatar is tech executives that just don't have time to invest in real estate. They all know the power of real estate. They all want to get in real estate, but they just have no time. And then as we started fleshing out this a little bit more, I strongly encouraged her to start doing weekly posts on LinkedIn, which is where a good part of these tech people hang out. And then I strongly encouraged her to start a YouTube channel. Okay, now, if you can actually see on this, she doesn't have a large following yet, 65 subscribers. Some of her videos, 79 views. I think her first video was 412. She's only got 6 out, and she's making a commitment to do once a week. Okay, I got a text message from Rebecca yesterday. I'm going to just find it on my phone here. Where are you, Rebecca? There she is. She just lined up a first investor starting with $250,000. And they're looking to be a private lender, looking that they want to get around a 5% return on their money. And the last part of this text message was the one that was most prevalent. It says, I feel like your YouTube videos and your marketing campaigns really made me consider this stuff more. Well done. So look at this, from somebody with a 65 subscriber YouTube channel that's only getting about 400 and some odd views on her videos at most, has now raised an investor $250,000. Okay, but she's making a commitment to keep putting it on LinkedIn and keep making a YouTube video. Now, here's the thing: is she's not doing anything outrageous. She's talking about a market update. She's talking about where down payments come from, land transfer taxes. Now, for you Albertans, you know, this thing called land transfer tax, there's, you know, in other provinces in this country, there's this evil thing that the government's doing. They actually charge you a tax to transfer a property, right? CMHC, like simple stuff. And she's getting leads from this, to the tune of one investor that's willing to put up about $250,000 to start as a private investor, and around a 5 to 7% interest on that as a starting point. Okay, so that's just somebody who's just started, who has a full-time gig. Now, the one thing with Rebecca, the one thing we're finding out with her is her avatar is changing a little bit, that it's more tuning towards, she's attracting more female executives, high-level people that are wanting to work with her. And we're adjusting her avatar to make her messaging and her communication plans to attract high-level female executives to her offerings. Okay, so that's example number one. Example number two, this is somebody, I don't know if you guys would know this or not, but this young gentleman out of Saskatoon, he actually, I think he won the Joint Venture Partner of the Year award for RAIN last year. I like to think he had a good coach, but I think he was the Joint Venture Partner of the Year in Northern Alberta last year for RAIN. Mike and I started working together over 2 years ago. And when Mike and I started working together, he did not even have the Facebook app on his phone. Okay. He didn't even have the app on his phone. So the first thing I did is one of the coaching things that we do is we have to, Mike, you are the best kept secret in Saskatoon, and we need to share you with the world. You need to start broadcasting your message. You need to take that phone of yours, and it's not just for consumption, it's for creation. You need to start creating on your phone as opposed to consuming social media. First thing I bought him was one of our first coaching sessions. I bought him a tripod to put his phone on. We got him the Facebook app, and then we built out a communication plan for him. And we actually built out a little bit of a plan for him to start communicating and sharing his message. He branded it as Mondays with Mike. Every Monday, he would get on Facebook and shoot a little video. And when Mike first got started, he was really nervous, and he was sitting there, goes, "What do people want to hear from me? You know, I've only got 11 places." Hear that for a second? Only 11 places, right? I've only got 11 properties, and what do I have to share? And people don't want. And he had serious wicked imposter syndrome. I said, Mike, if you want to share your message, somebody needs to hear this message. You need to share. So let's do this simply. Let's really break down your message. Let's not go to the far end. Let's not go out that you're the high level CEO. Let's start really simple. So his first videos that he shot was, he goes, "Hey guys, I'm here at my property here, and we have a sump pump issue." And he would sit there and he would point at the sump pump, and he goes, "You feel the sump pump? It's really hot." And that means that the sump pump is working really hard. And he just would do tips around the house. You know, it was in the middle of winter, and he was standing out in front. He goes, "Guys, here's a tip on if your locks ever freeze." And he some kind of compressed air or something that he would just put into the locks. And he was just sharing tips about what he was doing. Slowly, we started evolving Mike's message to start becoming the business owner, to start becoming the CEO, start becoming the expert, that he's now doing videos on personal development. He's doing videos on, here's some big high level, high thinking picture things. Now, the next thing is Mike, when we did his investor avatar, we broke it down that he was a former veterinarian. Actually, sorry, one of the things that we helped Mike do was we helped him retire from being a vet. He was a veterinarian for over 10 years, and he's just a young guy. I think he just turned 34. He was a veterinarian, and he wanted to retire from that that profession. Okay. And what we did with him at the same time is, in his ideal investor avatar, he wants to help out vets. He wants to help out veterinary owners, people that are a slave to their businesses, people that work 7 days a week, people that are suffering from decision fatigue. As a veterinarian, you know, all day long, you're making these life and death decisions on people's pets, and you get stressed out. You can get burnt out from that. And a lot of people that get into the profession as a veterinarian slowly start getting burnt out and start don't loving being a veterinarian anymore just because of that whole thing. So Mike started putting together programs and solutions for veterinary owners, business owners, so that they can start instead of going 7 days a week down to 6 days a week, down to 5 days a week, down to 4 days a week. And eventually, and he's doing that through the power of real estate. Okay. Fast forward to today, Mike just launched a podcast, and he's not launching a podcast on a real estate investing podcast. He's launching a podcast talking about providing support and guidance for veterinarians, right? For example, here was his last post. He just says, "Rethinking the veterinary retirement." And he and his business partner, our partner that he's doing this podcast with, are reaching out to veterinary owners and providing support and tools and resources that they can help retire. Now, that is somebody that is so totally aligned with what he offers and how he serves and the audience and the message that he has. Okay? So guys, so I know many of you are sitting here and we all want to fish in the pond of real estate investors. I would actually challenge a lot of you guys to step outside of the real estate investor pond. Because there's more ponds out there, and there's ideas that you have. There's church groups, there's professions, there's other things. Start fishing outside of the investor pond, and I have a feeling you'll have a blue ocean strategy. You'll have a blue ocean opportunity with people outside of the real estate investor pond as well. Okay, so those are two examples. Okay, I need to take a drink. So I need to find out you guys are with me here. Are you guys getting some good value? Type into the chat box, "Go Russ, go," as I grab a drink here. I just need to see we're doing a good job. Or am I putting everybody to sleep with my bad stories? Thanks, Colleen. See, look at me pandering to the audience, right? Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. So here's what I'm going to do. This one next is I'm gonna share with you guys a powerful framework. If you guys take just one thing from tonight, if you just learn how to tell a good story, you guys will separate yourself from everybody else that you will see out there in social media. I don't think enough people know how to tell a really good story. How I learned this is I study story. I study the story. I study movies. I study how people present. I study speeches that have been given over time. I study public speaking. Tonight, well, I've delivered over 900 public presentations over the years, over 900. And we're talking about a shy kid from Saskatchewan that wet his pants, the first public speech he ever had to do, like physically peed my pants. Now, to be in a position now that I can deliver over 900 public presentations and inspire audiences, the largest audience was over 1,500, and I actually shared the stage with Grant Cardone last year. So that's coming from a kid from small town Saskatchewan that wet his pants the first time. Okay, I've put the work in, I've done the work, I've done the reps. And if you do the reps and if you learn this and you study this, you will separate yourself above everybody. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the framework and then I'm going to give you guys a couple examples. Okay, so here's the framework. Ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. Okay, let's break this down. Here's the framework of a good story. Ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. Let's break each of these ones down first. So if somebody tells you a story and it's just literally, I don't know what I'm doing, and you just kind of, oh shucks, and everything's ordinary. I lost all this money, and I'm going through this divorce, and I'm going through bankruptcy, and somebody be sitting there watching it, going, "Geez, why are we listening to this guy? He doesn't seem like too much is going his way, or too much going their way, right?" That's somebody who might just say all ordinary. Somebody who you've seen somebody deliver a presentation that's all extraordinary. Like seriously, like look at me, look at the cars I drive, and look at the places I go, and the vacations I have, and the people I hang out with, and you sit there, and after you see somebody that's all they do, and they present that, you might sit there and go, yeah, I love that, man. What a wonderful presentation. I just really didn't resonate with that person, right? It just really nothing. It just didn't feel it because everything was so extraordinary. Okay, everything was just so larger than life. And then in there needs to be a transformation from the ordinary to the extraordinary in a transformation. Okay, so I'm going to share with you two stories, and I'm going to share with you guys an example on how to share a story. Let's do this. I'm going to share with you guys, and this one here is, let's say, and I'm going to make this up on the spot right now. Watch if you see ordinary, extraordinary, and transformation within there, okay? And I'm going to do this as I'm typing out a story on a Facebook post, because you can tell story through written words. You can tell story through your voice. You can still tell story through video. Okay, so let's just say, here's the way the story is going to go. And see if you can see ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. Wow, it's hard to believe it's only been 5 years since I wrote my first offer on a piece of real estate. And I remember like it was yesterday, that first offer that I ever wrote. My hand was shaking so much when I was writing that offer that you could not even read my handwriting on that first offer that I wrote. And it was only 5 years ago. Today, I am so happy and proud to say I've put my name on the largest deal I've ever done. We are buying a $1.5 million 8-plex in this area, and I could not have done that without my team of Jimmy Jones and Mary Smith and this person and that person, and I'm so grateful and honored that you guys stepped up and you pulled this out at the last hour. It's hard to believe what has happened in only a short 5-year time frame. Now, did you guys see that story? Ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. And did that kind of get you into the story, right? If I just sat there and I just went, man, I am great. I just bought a $1.5 million thing. I'm the best ever, right? You probably would just sit there and go, what the heck is that all about, right? So I share with you ordinary, I share with you an extraordinary, and I share with you a transformation. That is how you tell a story. And I did that within just making it up on the fly of doing that. And I share with a gratitude and a humbleness. And did I not share with you that I just bought a $1.5 million asset? Did I not just share with you? But I did it in a humble, respectful way that went from ordinary, extraordinary, and I shared a transformation. And that post alone might probably get somebody to contact me and want more details. For example. Okay, that's one example. I'm going to share another example. Everybody should have an origin story about how you got started in real estate or how you learned something you learned. Now, I'm going to time myself on this one and see if I can do this in under 3 minutes. I'm going to do this one as quick as possible because sometimes you have to do your stories quite quickly. But look for the framework here: ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. Man, I remember it was like yesterday when I first learned this game of real estate investing. You know what? I would always sit in the front row. This is when, remember when we could actually go to a live event, right? Remember those days? I would sit in the front row and I would take notes. I would always take the best notes. I was at this conference and we were learning about real estate investing. And it was one of those conferences, rah, 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 give me an R, give me an E, give me an A, give me an L, real estate, woo, 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 all, pumped up and sugar and caffeine and 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, I remember this person came on stage, cowboy boots, Wrangler jeans, belt buckle, sauntered up on stage. And he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I got some good news and I got some bad news." And everybody's going, "Oh, bad news? Well, this is all one of those positive events, right? It can't be bad news." He says, "I'll give you the bad news first. Money is required to buy real estate." And everybody was sitting there going, "Oh." It almost felt like I got kicked in the stomach when I heard that money was required to buy real estate. Now, why did it feel like I got kicked in the stomach? It's because I had no money. Okay. And then that person, after they let that bomb just drop in the room, and it was like dead silence, you could hear a pin drop in that room. Then after that, they said, "But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be your money." Oh, well, that's good news because I didn't have any. So I made a point at that time right there was to learn how to raise capital from others. I learned how the process worked. I studied the best of the best. I got a coach. I got mentors. I learned from people that were doing. And lo and behold, almost 17 years later, almost 20 years later, I've transacted over 100 places, 21 joint venture relationships. And I am still now in the market, active to do that. It is hard to think that I went from somebody with the largest statement I saw when I first got started was my Visa bill. Okay, hard to think about that. Now that is the way of going: ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. That's how you tell a good story. Now, time out for a second. I could have expanded that story if I wanted to. If I gave myself more time or I had more time, I could have told the whole story about how a cassette tape came in the mail and was one of my early mentors. And I learned how to do joint ventures. I could talk about, my first car and all this kind of different thing I could build out, and I could flesh that story out. But you build a story in there. And I also did you guys want to know some really powerful tips that I shared with you on how to tell a story? I actually just did one right there. Do you guys just see what I did? I leaned into the camera. I looked right, I looked left, and I leaned in to engage you. I'm looking right at you. Okay. If I was sitting here on my screen and looking at my screen and things like that, this is looking at my screen, but I'm not looking at you. This is looking at you. You can deliver a soulful, powerful presentation, but you have to make sure you look at the people. Okay. That is a ninja tip. It's actually called the Scooby-Doo technique. You lean in, look right, look left, and you give a secret ninja tip. That is how you engage people in the presentation. I've done an entire training for my community on how to deliver a presentation too. If any of you are ever interested, by all means, let me know. Okay. Ordinary, extraordinary, transformation. If you don't remember anything I talk about tonight, if you remember that framework, you will tell a better story and you will raise more money online. Okay. The next one I'm going to share with you is I'm going to do a little bit of potential drawing here for you for a second. I'll give you a couple examples, and this is where we get a little bit advanced. And I want to just make sure I have my iPad here. Hang on a sec. So this framework I'm going to share with you is, did I invent this? I probably modeled this off of somebody. I probably modeled it off of who did I model this off? Maybe it went after another famous Russell, meaning Russell Brunson. And he was kind of talked about a value ladder, I think is what he calls it. And this is what I kind of took that and I just kind of incorporated into my own business and how I do this. So I'm going to share with you guys a couple examples. Here's what I want everybody to do. Hello, everybody. I'm going to share with you my iPad. Hopefully you can see this. Oh, trust. Connect your iPad. When prompted, select trust. I thought I connected it. Oh, I'm having trouble here, guys. Share. Can you guys see my iPad? Can you type in yes or no? LOL. Nope, nope, nope. Sure, hang on. Stop share. I'll try it one more time. Nope. Okay, I'm going to do this way. Let's see if I can do it this way. I tested all this. We're really going to do this old school. I'm going to draw for you guys, and this is going to be so messy that it's going to frighten you, but it's actually going to work. So if you guys have a pen and paper, what I want you to do is I want you to draw a graph like this. Okay, if you have a pen and paper. Down on this corner right here, I'm going to make a little dollar sign, and on this corner over here, we're going to make a big dollar sign. Oh, big dollar sign. Okay, and on this over here, we're going to have a little C, and up here, we're going to have a big C. So this is money on this axis, going from little money to big money. This is commitment, going from little commitment to big commitment. Okay, this is the investor journey. It's the money versus commitment investor journey that I map out for people all the time. So what we do is right here, we're going to draw a ladder, and you're going to draw steps. I'm going to put 6. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Okay, you're going to have 6 steps. So what I do, first of all, when I bring somebody in to be a potential investor for me, somebody comes in here at this point right here into something free. They'll come into a free, whether they maybe have seen a video I posted, maybe by podcast, which is free, a program that I put out for some resources for people to help you navigate the COVID-19 situation. They maybe will read my books. One of them I put out, maybe I've been on a webinar. Some people will enter my world for free. They made a low commitment and low dollar amount to get into my world, okay? Then from there, maybe somebody goes, geez, something Russell said really resonated with me, and maybe they jump onto my email list, and maybe they're now a subscriber to my emails. Okay, I'm going to put an S here. And they're maybe subscribing to my emails, and then each week I send them a new video, I send them a new podcast, I send them a training video, I send them something that really helps them move forward, and maybe they invite them out to a webinar. Okay, and then on that webinar, so now the webinar is somebody has made a commitment. They've had to register. Maybe they've been charged a little bit to come to that. They've had to spend a little bit of money, but more importantly, they've made a bigger commitment. Okay, and somebody comes to my webinar. Then maybe after that, they maybe want to come into a community that I've built called a Facebook group, or a community that I've built called the Raising Capital Academy. Okay, maybe they come into that community. Okay, and then maybe from that group, so that person's made a little bit more of an investment. They've also made a commitment. Maybe someone from there also maybe wants to become a coaching client. I'm going to just put that as a CO, coaching. Okay, and then from that coaching client relationship, eventually maybe that person becomes an investor. And okay, that person has made a big commitment and a bigger dollar. And I've walked people through this nurturing process to eventually get there. Now, I'm okay if let's say somebody comes into my world from a webinar and they want to go instantly to investor. I'm okay with that too. Maybe somebody wants to go from a webinar and they want to go instantly to a coaching client. Maybe somebody comes as a subscriber and they want to join here. I'm okay with all these things. But the point is, I have defined gates in my CRM and my database of people's journeys along the way. Now here, if people don't become investors with me, I'm okay with that. I truly am. My entire goal is to serve and help people along the process. My goal is to be of value to each person that comes in along the process. And what I do is, this is how I look at my business, and this is how I consult other people as well, is to do this process. And eventually, people walk through this ladder. I had an investor that went through this like clockwork, through this entire process, and eventually became an investor that invested 1.5 million. Okay. And that's what that person came through that clockwork. And I monitor each of these gates along where people are, and I can tell where people are in their journey within my world. And that's what I do within my CRM, within my database, within my tagging of actions that people do, within following people on how many emails they open, following the links that they click, their interests and things that they're engaging with. Okay. Now I know some of you going, Russ, that really sounds kind of creepy that you can do that. You'd be shocked at the amount of data that can be tracked on people right there. You think that is, just start looking at what Facebook and the Facebook pixel of what it can do and the data points that it has on you as well. But thing is, I treat this seriously. I treat this like a business because this is a business for me. Okay, so that's an investor journey. Now, I designed this for different people. For example, I have a friend of mine who's got over $1 billion real estate portfolio. They do very similar. There's always gonna be something free. They will collect emails when they do that. They will actually have a webinar. Instead of them having this here, they actually have a wine and cheese, which they invite people out to, a wine and cheese. Then after the wine and cheese, they actually have a field trip that they invite people to where they go down to see their projects. And almost every person that comes out to the field trip becomes an investor from there. So you will see these sequences within many different people's businesses. And this is how marketing works. This is how professional people that raise capital for a living, this is how they do. Now, one of the reasons why I also do this too is because not that I'm overly cautious, but I do not want to get the attention of securities commissions. I do not want to get the attention of overly aggressively marketing investment opportunities, because sometimes you just don't want to get the attention of certain people. Through this process, here's the litmus test I will always say, if I ever had to sit in front of the securities board and I had to share how I knew the investor, I would map out this journey. I would pull up my CRM database. I would show every touch point and every contact I've had with this person, every note, every phone call, every email, every time we've met, every coffee we've had. I would build the exemption that we are friends and business associates. Okay? That is how you prove that you know these people, as opposed to them just being random people from the public. Okay. I could go on and on that one topic alone about just how to build out funnels and sequences. And like I said, I actually get consulting fees for people who will bring me in to take a look at their funnels, take a look at their website, take a look at their digital properties, and how is it all working together within their funnels and their follow-up sequences as well. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this up, and then I really want to have a Q&A with each and every one of you. Let me share my screen one more time. I got one more story I'm going to share with you guys, and then we'll open it up to some Q&A. Okay. Here's some final thoughts for you. And I apologize in advance if I have gone over, but here's the thing, is I get excited when I start talking about this stuff. What I share with you guys here tonight, I could literally put an entire day workshop on. I truly could. As a matter of fact, I do, and with people, and I will do that entire process. For some of you, like I said, you might be just sitting there going, oh, I love this stuff, Russ, give me more. Some of you going, what the heck does that guy talking about? But he sure talks fast, right? But I got something for everybody. So I'm happy. If any of you want to continue your journey, please reach out. I'll let you know if we want to take a little deeper dive and continue your journey. But here's my final story I'm going to share with you. And this one's an analogy. Now, for some of you, you maybe saw that I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts. I'm wearing my Aloha shirt. I have been drinking from my pineapple water jug. On my desk, I have one of my favorite places in the world. I don't know if you can see that. Mama's Fish House, Maui, on Maui. It's one of the places where my wife and I were married, in the island of Maui. I'm going to use an analogy of surfing here for you guys. Now, for some of you, you maybe have never surfed. Here's the process if you want to do surfing. Is the first thing you have to do when you surf is you actually have to get your board in the water. You can't surf by standing on the shore watching other people surf. You actually have to get your board into the water. But once you're in the water, that's not the full story. Once you're in the water, the first step you need to do is you need to point your board to where you're going, right? You can't point it this way. You actually have to point it towards the shore. Then what you're doing is you're sitting there and you're on there and you're pointed toward the shore, but you're watching for the waves to start forming. and you're watching for the waves to start coming. You're going, which wave am I going to catch? There's waves coming and I want to catch one. Then once you find the wave you want to catch, what do you need to do? You need to paddle and you need to kick like HE double hockey sticks, and you need to take action and you need to really work at it to get your board, to get up on top of your board so you can then enjoy the freedom of surfing towards the shore. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the same as it would take within real estate. There are going to be some waves that are going to be forming. You need to have your board in the water. You need to point it to where you're going. But when the opportunity comes, you need to kick like heck and catch that wave, and you can then enjoy the freedom of going all the way to the shore. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Russell Westcott. Thank you very much. Is everyone gone? Virtual applause. Thank you. Adrian. Yo, Adrian. Oh, I can't hear you there, brother.
I don't know if you saw, I did the Scooby-Doo technique because that was amazing. I loved it, Russell. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, happy. Hey, guys, as you can probably tell, I love doing these things. So I honestly will do something like this every single day. And if it's not to an audience like this, I actually on my desk, I have 4 cameras set up that I will shoot some kind of a video or some kind of training or something live every day just to share a message. It's all about the distribution of your message. It's one thing to create it. It's another thing to distribute it.
100%. And like that goes back to one of the biggest takeaways for me was the consumption versus creation. I mean, everyone has these things kicking around in our pockets, in our hands, every single place we go. And I think you nailed it on the head there, Russell. That's be able to create things, bring it out to the world, show who you are and what you're doing. So I know we are getting close to time, but obviously I'm looking at my chat box. We have about 23 comments since I last looked at it. So let's open that up to some Q&A.
On my watch clock, I see 808. Does anyone know the significance of the number 808 on my clock? Anyone know the significance of that?
That is the area code for Hawaii.
It is.
I was also married in Maui. So
which beach were you married? Were you married on a beach?
Yeah, we were married at Oluwalu.
Which one? We were in Mokapu, which is right in front of the Andes, which is the old Renaissance.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we were on the do you know Leota's Pie Shop?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, okay. That's in
the Lahaina area.
Yeah.
But if anybody is
on
not
the other side.
Yeah.
Cool. Beautiful place. Love
amazing it. Amazing spot. So, we are open for questions, guys. So if you have anything, I'm just going to skip through here and see if I see any questions. But please fill up the chat box. If you guys have anything to ask Russell, don't be shy. This is your time to definitely connect with him.
I know there was somebody that asked the question about when I said at the beginning, if somebody wants like a beginner joint venture raising capital, just my name, russellwestcott.com. Just if you go there, there's lots of ways you can connect with me through there.
100%.
And to be, I might as well just give you my email address. It's russell@russellwestcott.com. So.
So we got a question here from Amy. She says, any tips to get past the imposter feeling? I definitely suffer from that sometimes.
Here's the best tip that I can give you to get past the imposter syndrome is number one, everybody feels it. I would embrace it, and I would let the imposter syndrome give me fuel to do it anyways. And there's a saying that I often say to myself is do it anyways. When you don't feel like doing something, just do it anyways. Then I'm going to break it down into a little bit more practical and tactical for you, is I would suggest every single day in your things that you need to do today, you need to take an action of something that scares the crap out of you, right? Like when I guide some people on, jumping into social media, here's a question that will come up is, Russell, I don't have time to go onto LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and live and email. There's just so much. I don't have time. So what I tell people is I want you to pick 2 things. I want you to pick one of them that you are the most prolific at. And for most people, they can write. Most people are fairly prolific at writing. So that's the one I want you to pick that you can do the most of, that you're most prolific at. The second one I want you to pick is the one that scares the crap out of you. And for most people, that would probably be live video. Okay. So you're doing one you're prolific at, and then you're going to do one that scares the crap out of you. And then what I'm going to get you to do is, if you want, set up a dummy Facebook group that the only person in it is you and your husband, or you and your wife, or there's only 2 people in that dummy group, and you're going to go live to that dummy Facebook group every day to just practice. And your first time you're going to do is go, I have no idea what I'm saying and I look stupid, but oh dear, I got to do it. Russell told me I have to do this. And you're going to make a commitment to go every day to do a Facebook Live to yourself on your dummy Facebook group. And then one day when you got the nerve, you're going to do it out to a bigger audience. And then from there, it is going to snowball. And in a couple years from now, if you do those work, we won't even recognize you. You won't even recognize yourself. You'll be talking about imposter syndrome of standing in front of 400 people. Will be the next imposter syndrome we talk about. But you've mastered the first step of the 40, right?
Right.
So, anyways.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. And to kind of expand on that too, Russ, for me, it's something that isn't really natural, to go out and post, and it's something I haven't been using. So Jen, who is behind the scenes making sure that this goes flawlessly, she actually puts it in my calendar to make sure I post. And she, kind of like Russell broke it down, gives you certain topics. So that's fantastic.
Well, that's actually a challenge that I have for a community of investors that I coach and lead, is we're doing a commitment and a challenge to do a post a day in August. Every day we're going to do some kind of it has to be something that we have to create some kind of a post a day. Right. Mm-hmm. And if that's too much, then do it like when I talked about my coaching client, Mike, and he just said Mondays with Mike, and he committed to once a week to shoot one video, and that was it. And the thing is, you don't have to publish it. Shoot it. You don't have to publish it. I would actually encourage you that the worse it is, you should publish it.
Right. And it feels natural at that point, right?
Yeah.
People want to be relatable. What's your thoughts on posting? And I know a lot of real estate investors struggle with, if I'm targeting real estate people, do I just post on real estate stuff, or do I just post general things?
It's a little bit of a combination. Now, for some of you, now I'm not saying this to build my following or anything like that, but what I'm going to tell you guys is follow me on the social media channels and learn by somebody who does this professionally. Okay. I post pictures of my dog. I post pictures of my family. I post pictures within, I have a certain strategy around my Instagram account. I have a certain strategy around things. I did a video 2 weeks ago where the title was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we launched the video. One of the things that my investors have, one of the biggest stumbling points, I invest in Edmonton. Okay. I invest where you guys live in Edmonton. One of the biggest stumbling points investors in Edmonton have is the market. The price points and the cash flows and the product, it's like a no-brainer. People are just going, really? You can get that there for that and that price point? But the problem they have is a little bit of confidence in the market. Okay. So with my business partner in Edmonton, we're doing a campaign and we're calling it the Confidence Campaign, where we're doing videos and we're sharing information about confidence in Edmonton. Quite frankly, that's what the government should be doing. The government and the politicians should be doing a confidence campaign. Alberta's open for business. Come on in, guys. Let's get after this. So we started out with doing a series on why Edmonton, why now. We're going to do a series on why new construction properties. We're then going to do another one is how to invest from out of town. And it could turn into a once a month series, but it's an entire program and a sequence that builds confidence to people to come to Edmonton. And we're a source of opportunities in Edmonton. No different than what you guys would do it with Mogul as well. Yeah,
I love that. It's all about being consistent with your posting. And, I know Michael being in that position of being a little bit uncomfortable, and he's just like, I'm going to stick it. Mondays are going to be my days, and I'm going to be consistent with posting that every single time. So I probably didn't tell the full story of this. I one about Mike Bug, one of my coaching clients. Here's the thing is I actually get more enjoyment and excitement about sharing my coaching clients' successes than mine. And for some of you, if you feel
maybe a little shy about you sharing your success, help other people win and help other people succeed and then share their wins. Okay. And then those people will refer people back to you. But interesting. You guys, if you actually went on my YouTube channel, the last video I sent out last week was a presentation that Mike and I did on how we bought a 11-unit apartment building, got a $725,000 vendor take back, and he had a money partner that put up $400,000 from somebody who did not have a Facebook app on his phone 2 years ago.
Crazy. The proof is in the pudding, right?
And the stuff works, but it works, but you have to work it, unfortunately.
100%. So we have one question that came in. How can a new investor sell himself, herself to a potential joint venture partner if they have no track record in real estate?
Yeah, here's what I did at the very, very beginning. I sell to people the process that I'm learning. I sell to people the journey that I'm on. Okay. I sell to people, my first investment partners, what I shared with them was the actions that I was taking. My first investment partner was a coworker of somebody who we hiked together all the time. We went on long hikes, sometimes 4-hour hikes. And we just have some conversations, and he just saw the passion that I had for real estate, that I was flying out to Edmonton. I learned this crazy strategy from this guy named Arlen Dolan about raising capital from other people. And I learned this strategy from this, and I actually learned from this guy named Ron LeGrand. And I actually was down in Florida last month, and I was doing a training on learning how to buy things subject to. And I was learning all these things, and I hired a coach, and I hired a mentor. And this person I was dealing with and talking with, they saw that I was making an investment into myself. They saw the journey that I was going on. And then lo and behold, they just said, well, why don't we work together on a deal? And then I presented a property to that person. Now, here's the thing that I tell people to do, and I don't see this enough. I honestly don't see this enough, guys. A lot of you that I've seen, you go to conferences and you go to webinars. How many of you tonight or tomorrow are going to sit there and grab your phone and say, holy moly, I was on this mastermind group and we were talking about real estate investment. James gave this wonderful insight onto what was going on in the marketplace. I learned this, or this, and you did a summary of all the things you learned. And here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm actually going to make this commitment. I'm making a public declaration that the 3 things I'm going to do from this is A, B, and C. Hold me accountable to that. I don't see enough people doing that, right? Why don't you how many people is there here tonight? 54 people. Why isn't 50 of you doing a summary of what you guys learned here tonight, what you're making a commitment to do, and what you learned as an executionable next step? You can do that without even owning a piece of real estate.
100%.
Maybe one of the things you learned is, I heard about this place called Bonnie Doon. I am actually going to go take a tour out to Bonnie Doon, and I'm going to go look at all the LRT stations, and I'm going to go drive it, and I'm going to see boots on the ground about things that are going. And then when you're out there, you're going to go, holy moly, look what I'm seeing here, guys. That's a new infill over there. That's something going on over there. The Bonnie Doon Mall is being revitalized. I didn't even know. I live in the city, and I didn't even know what was going on out here. You don't have to own a piece of real estate to do any of that.
No. And people want to know that you're investing in yourself. How can they trust you if you can't even invest in yourself from the beginning? So that's the biggest thing. That's what I always tell my clients as well when they're getting into it. And obviously you're the OG of joint ventures. So it's always
again, I got another guy call me old.
Hey, I just I got to follow it up, make sure everybody knows.
At least you're consistent. I'm teasing you.
Exactly. Awesome.
Here's the interesting thing, Adrian, is there's actually an entire new generation, and I'm not trying to sound this egotistical or anything. There's an entire new generation of real estate investors that don't even know who I am. And look out, guys, you guys don't even know what's going to hit you. I have a written goal to impact 1 million real estate investors by 2035. So if you guys want to be on that train of being impacted by that within that group of 1 million, pay attention.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Russell, for coming and sharing your insights on everything. It was fantastic to have you. Your program sounds amazing. Everything that you're doing, give this guy a subscribe. Find out what he's doing. He is dropping knowledge bombs left, right, and center. So
hang on. When we talk about knowledge bombs, I have to do this.
Yes. I absolutely love it. So we're going to make sure that you guys get a copy of this. I believe in the chat box, we do have Russell's information there. This is also going to be recorded, so you can always look back at it. But we'll make sure the whole Mogul Mastermind group gets an email sent out to it. So if you don't have it, please email myself or Russell. It's easy, adrian@mogulrg.com, and we'll make sure you get all the resources that you guys are looking for. Stay tuned. We also have our next Mogul Mastermind coming up August 26th, and that's going to be on Airbnbs, furnished rentals, vacation rentals. So a fantastic evening. Again, it's the last Wednesday of every month. And Russell, some final thoughts, final words for the group?
Well, here's the way I leave every presentation I ever do. In every interaction you have with another human being, always make sure that they feel that you leave them feeling inspired, encouraged, and always come from a place of love. And if we all make a commitment to do that, this world will be a little better place.
I love it. Thank you so much again, Russell. And I'm glad to have learned that we both got married in the same place.
Yes, I guess there's an instant connection here.
Exactly.
Are you shutting things down, or do you guys want some Q&A? I'm cool if you guys want some more Q&A. I've got nothing else to do here tonight. So I got a dog that's going crazy, but other than that, we're all good.
That's all good. I think we are. Let's see if anything. We'll give it a little bit more time, see if anybody else rolls in. But it looks like I think we're good. Okay. So guys, if you do have any other questions, please you can shoot us an email and we'll definitely get the answer for you.
Happy to help, guys.
Thanks so much.